Good evening and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Good evening, Patrick. Good evening, Stanley. City are back. City are back, mate. Wow. Wow, what a 24 hours what we've good evening to everybody in the chat, by the way. I've just noticed one off Chris saying it was a bit hard on Sam Lee yesterday. Nah, Sam knows, mate. I know Sam. But yeah, what a 24 hours it's been. Listen, we'll chat through the game as we always do. If I'm honest, I couldn't even be asked doing the player ratings because I thought I'm not going to waste my time on that. However, you know, we will chat about the game. We'll do it with humour as we always do. Not only humour, we will also do it with some hard-hitting facts, some hard-hitting, I don't know, because I've been accused nothing but since the match yesterday of being a happy clapper. I'm not a happy clapper. Anybody who knows me, who follows me on Twitter and stuff like that, they'll know when anything happens at City what I don't agree with, I'm always the first to voice my opinion. However, that doesn't mean to say I can hammer any players in particular. I like to try and keep balanced. And to be fair, so does half the people, the good people in the chat. So, Anne-Marie won't be joining us tonight, guys, because and we've also later on in the show we've got some exclusive quotes from Kyle Walker, the Kyle Walker. Now, don't ask me how I got them. Seriously, Paddy's been privy to him, haven't you, pal?
Hot off the press.
And I don't know whether that's because I've been defending Kyle in social media, but the thing is, I'm not just defending Kyle. I'm defending every single one of them players because it's the old adage. It's easy to support somebody or a club, a team when they're winning. When they need us, like losing five in the row, that's when they need us more, not when we're winning. So let's pick the bones out of it, young Patrick and old Stan.
Where do you want to start?
Start anywhere you want, and I'll go through. I'll put some of the comments up. Thank you for Martin, 16 months being a member, you madman. Thank you very much, all the same. Go on, pal.
Well, I don't know. It is hard to watch at the moment. The team they're just not clicking. I don't think what I put up in our group that I don't think the midfield is doing the defence any favours. Our midfield has been non-existent for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Is he playing our strongest midfield? I don't think he is. I suppose the injury to Kovacic didn't help, but at the same time, were we a bit complacent during the summer when we didn't sign anyone? Like for a backup to Rodri, the next Rodri, it's like he needs to strengthen that midfield, whatever he's going to do. Either like when all the defenders are back fit and healthy, does he put Guardiola in the midfield? Does he put John Stones in the midfield? But he needs to put somebody in there that's going to stop the attacks coming straight through midfield and landing on our defence. And going back to the basics, like when you're leaking goals, like the first attack they had, they scored yesterday.
Let's not forget though, no, before they scored, mate, we could have been at least two up. So, and I thought we actually started off yesterday really, really positive and probably.
Oh, we did, but I don't think the chances were as clear cut as people are making out.
Probably the quickest tempo we've started off. And if you analyse it, it's easy when you get 4-0. It looks like 4-0 looks like a drubbing. Yeah, it was a drubbing. However, if you analyse it, it wasn't. We was just absolutely dog shit at the back. I mean, I'm using using Jack's word there, dog shit. But we was dog shit at the back.
But you see, like people, like the midfielders can make mistakes and get away with it because the defenders behind them. But when defenders make mistakes, they don't get away with it because all they have to do is beat the keeper. So if your midfield is not protecting your defence, like, I don't understand why he's not playing the man Nunes. Why did he sign him if he's not going to play him? Is he going to be another Calvin Phillips? Like, Nunes was a good player.
But he was also injured, wasn't he, before the internationals? Was he?
He was on the bench yesterday.
I know. Well, right. So, listen, I'd like to think, Stan, save me from my sanity here. I don't mean with you, Paddy. Somebody always needs to save me with your sanity, mate. Right. So, everybody in that ground yesterday was on, even before 60 minutes, was like, get KDB on, get Jack on, da-da-da-da-da. However, I'm sure, I'd like to think Pep would have brought him on earlier if they had that extra in the tank. I think he only, regardless, we was getting a whooping, yeah? No two ways about it. On paper, we was getting a whooping. Now, at 3-0 down, Kevin De Bruyne, the only two people who could have saved us yesterday was Marty McFly and Doc out of Back to the Future. They're the only two people who could have saved us yesterday because the game was gone at 3-0. It really, really was. So, do you bring KDB on earlier with a risk of injury? But by the way, he looked very good when he come on. And, his little cameo, and so did Jack. Looked all right. What? Surely Pep knows the players better than all us armchair fans.
Yeah, he should have made a change earlier. He should have brought John Mackin on at half time. It's as simple as that. If the ball fraud can't learn from that, there's no hope for us. I don't know. The problem is all the leaks and everything coming out of City are sort of they've been blocked off now, aren't we? We don't know how fit they are. You will put players who aren't 100% fit on the bench just to put the fear of God in the opposition. And I really honestly don't think that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games would alter the way Pep thinks. If somebody's 70% fit, 80% fit, whatever it is, he will play them for whatever the doctors advise them to play for. So if the doc says he's only got 20 minutes in the tank, he'll only put him on for 20 minutes. Now, at 3-0, there's an argument both ways are saying, well, at 3-0, does it really matter? He might as well come on. There's not much chance of getting it turned around, but at least he gets a few more minutes in the tank. Or is it, do you bring him on for the 10 minutes earlier? Possibly damage him? Or probably, for the sake of...
Probably another 10 minutes he'd have been sent off because he looked... By the way, did anybody notice in the... De Bruyne actually got headbutted yesterday when he come on. I don't know if it's shown it on TV or anything. Honestly, one of the Spurs players actually went up and he went like that. He actually headbutted De Bruyne.
Didn't see it. I know there was a bit of a scuffle, but I didn't see any headbutting.
But in fact, while we've got there, Chris says, "Look, we know Walker is finished, but to blame him for everything is a joke." Should we play the exclusive clip? And I bet every other City creator would love what we have got. Should we play it, Paddy?
Play it.
So this is Kyle Walker. I caught up with him a little bit earlier, and he's actually going on about it's actually got back to the players now.
Hi everyone. Thought I'd come on Andy's PUBcast tonight just to set a few records straight. Well, I've been getting a lot of stick lately, and I think it's really out of order. Yep, I got caught pissing up a wall a few weeks back, but that shouldn't affect my performances. And there's other players who are not pulling the weight, and I'm getting blamed for them, and I'm sick of it now, because it's getting to the point now where all things like people getting on my back and even young Ricos, well, it is starting to affect us in the dressing room. So I get that some of you want scapegoats and stuff like that, but it's got to stop. If you want us to be successful, then you got to get behind lads. All of us, it's so important. And for you, Anne-Marie, you're one at worst. Anybody who plays down the right, you seem to have a go at. It was Riyadh and now me. Get behind all lads, not just certain players, what you might fancy, like Ruben. Listen, had to come on tonight and have me say. So, listen, get behind lads. We need you.
Joking aside, I should imagine if Kyle Walker was to come out after all what he hears, he would probably say something like that. Again, that was just top.
He did.
Has it?
He absolutely did.
So, because it feeds back to the players. So, if somebody told me I'm shit at what I do, not necessarily this, I mean, in my job or whatever, I'd start believing it. Now, it's okay, Joe Blogs on the top tier shouting something. The chances are Walker or any player's not going to wear it. But when it's coming from the sort of like pitch side, of course the players are going to wear it because they're not stupid. They're not deaf. It's the club needs us more than ever now. Not just the players, the club needs us more than ever because
you're always going to have a section of fans that are going to turn the players. That's all this team. We've seen it back in the days of Main Road. There was Brightwell. There was Sean Wright Phillips. The list goes on. There was just too many to mention. They always seem there's a section of fans that want the scapegoat, and they can't see the bigger picture, or they don't want to see the bigger picture. But this belief that you can go in and win a football match before it's even kicked off, like it's 11 against 11 with football, and whoever who scores the most or plays the best normally wins. But there don't seem to be any tolerance to any of our players having off days or not.
I'm a happy clapper as well.
And I don't want to go down, Andy, on a serious note, I don't want to go down that road of happy clapper versus entitlement because that splits the fans. What we should be doing is sticking together and getting behind the team.
You're not already split. Are you telling me they're not already split?
Look, people are entitled to their opinion. Doesn't necessarily mean that I have to agree with it or you have to agree with it. Some people, like it goes back to show 1,000 people a glass half full of water. Some will say it's half full. Some will say it's half empty. Some of them just want to criticize because that's their personality and they can't help it. They're just negative people, you know. That's the way they are. They can't help it. Just because I view the team and the situation we find ourselves in, maybe from a more helpful point of view, that doesn't make me right, but it doesn't make me wrong either.
Absolutely, mate. And the point of the title of sort of like some of the show is, I'm sick to death of being called a happy clapper. No, I don't think there's such thing as a happy clapper. I think there's such thing as entitled, but not a happy clapper. And the reason why I say this, I don't know if you agree here, Stan. I'm not a happy clapper. It might just be my generation where, not just because we've seen shit over the years, but I back the players. If I was having a tough time in work or wherever, I'd expect a bit of support of my colleagues or, you know, people in and around me. I wouldn't expect people to start hammering me and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think genuine criticism I think's acceptable, but I'm not sure that some of the criticism that gets thrown out there is entirely correct. What's that old saying they always say? If you don't support the club when we're doing badly, don't bother when we're winning. Mm-hmm. There's a fair few falling foul of that. Two of those goals Tottenham scored yesterday came from direct result of us misplacing passes.
No, I'll tell you what it was. That's what it was. But Kyle Walker's got the blame for all 4 goals.
No, well, I was going to say that, but that's not Guardiola's fault. That's not the setup. That's not the team setup fault. That's not anything.
Absolutely. My point is, listen, if Gvardiol was at fault for 3 goals, he's at fault for 3 goals. I'm not going to start digging him out or booing him or like what Kyle Walker's going through at the minute. Yeah, Kyle Walker ideally needs to be taken out and from the firing line at the minute, as does Kevin De Bruyne needs to be put in to either play himself in form, play himself in fitness, because he had a bit of our best. It says it all. Our best 2 players yesterday was De Bruyne and Ake, and both substitutes.
Yeah, no, I mean the 2 passes that I'm talking about. The second one was Jack Grealish when he's played it across, and they've gone away and scored the 4th. What do you do with that? But we've got a lot of players out. A lot of teams have a lot of players out. It's hard to put your finger on it because it's not one thing. There's several things going on at the moment. How many? Oh, God, they're not playing well as a team. There's no doubt about that. Is it because our standards are normally that high? It only needs somebody to come in half a second late and the ball's gone. You don't. This is a team that's set up that everything is fluid. You don't have time to look up. You need to know where to put the ball. If you've got somebody who's not playing there regularly, it doesn't take much for the old system to fall down. And that's what's happening, and that's what injuries do to you. Núñez is suddenly on the wing, and then he's on the bench. We don't know how injured he is. KDB's coming back. Let
me ask you both a question. Right? And with my back 4, what I'm going to say, it's not having a go at Kyle Walker in any way, shape, or form. But I think if we've got a fit back 4 at the minute, it's got to be Ake, left back, Diaz, left side of the centre backs, Stones, right side of the centre backs, and Akanji on the right side, whether it's right back or wherever. Take Kyle out the firing line for a minute. You might be, and I would be putting, and we say it week in, week out on this show, give Gvardiol a chance at number 6. Just give him a chance at number 6. Because at the moment, we're a little bit lightweight in the number 6 area, aren't we? So Gundo, as much as I love him, he's not the answer as a defensive midfielder, nor is Rico, nor is Núñez. Kovacic is injured, so we can't do anything about that. So we've got to do something different. And to do something different, you put a big lad in there who's good on the ball, generally good at tracking back, and just listen. Pep knows more than us, obviously, but I just think it's crying out for giving Josko a go in the middle.
But we see that, right? But as we're well aware, in terms, just the way you said, we're not aware of injuries or how fit people actually are. It's the medical team that are dictating that. I can't sit here and honestly think that Pep hasn't tried that in training and it hasn't worked out, and he's not trying it. There's no other reason for him not to try it. You're talking a tactical genius when he's at his best. Yes, he has a few brain farts, and people go back to the Champions League final. They always throw that out because it's low hanging fruit, isn't it? It's easy picking that. But you're talking a mastermind who eats, sleeps, and breathes football 24 hours a day. He must have tried. He has to be trying something to solve that midfield conundrum. Rico Lewis and Gundo are definitely not the answer. Not a hope. If he keeps playing them two in the centre of that park, well, as the old saying goes, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. He needs to change it.
But them players must be wounded. Listen,
of course they are.
They must be. I don't get it. And I've seen it on social media and stuff like that, and I've just breezed past it. I don't get the players are half-assed. They don't really care. I don't get that at all. They are champions. They will not like for 1 minute what's going through. But we're at a stage in not just the season, but we're at a stage in Pep's tenure where we're being battered left, right, and centre at the minute, and it's the unknown. And again, the old adage, it's like when you're losing, you can't get out with that losing mentality. But when you're winning, you're just winning. How would you sort the midfield out, Stan, if you was Mr. Guardiola? Sorry, mate.
Genuinely don't know.
Would you give Josko a go in the middle?
I don't know. You don't know what he's like in training, do you? It's a shout. He may well have something in his head. Him and Juan Marlilo will probably be coming up with something. Maybe what happened on Saturday was what they come up with.
Do you agree with Ming-Yi Wong there? Some of the players are not playing for Pep, as it seems. I don't believe that for a minute.
Not for a second. No. Far from it. I just don't think. It's just a culmination, isn't it, of many things. That they've won 4 on the run, they're mentally gone through the ringer. They've got to get themselves up every time. They are always judged to a much higher degree than any other team. If that drops, then the whole world caves in. After, what is it, 4 on the run, 6 in 7. The fact that, this is deemed a crisis, and as far as I know, after today's results, we're still second. How bad have some of them teams behind us been for us to have lost 3 on the run and still not overtook us?
And something? We're second.
We're all but through to the Champions League. These things happen, and nobody in August turned around and said, I think this is going to be rocky. People have said, we might need 1 or 2, but nobody thought we're going to have an injury list like this. Did see one person coming up with this. So what do you do?
With what Mike says, I can name 6 as well. What was worse than Kyle yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it's it is what is it? It's a complicated, not at the moment, but we'll get through it. And when we get through it, we'll be back up and running again. It really is as simple as that. I don't know why people are losing their minds about it.
Iptra says, I mean, the 4th goal is ridiculous from Kyle. I'd say the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd was more ridiculous because at one, especially the 1st and 2nd, because then we're chasing the game, so we have to take chances going forward, etc. So, and again, I just don't get it. It's yet the 4th goal was ridiculous, but so was the first 3. So I can't understand why we just pinpoint just the 4th goal. Is it because it's Kyle Walker? Kyle was at fault for the 4th? Don't know. And this is what I'm saying.
I think if you go back and look at it, I think Jack Grealish's pass was ridiculous. That caused the breakaway in the first place.
Yeah, but we had time to defend it.
I don't know. If Kyle's out of position and he's not got the pace he had, we shouldn't be setting them up for having a 3-on-3 with 30 seconds to go or 2 minutes to go. And they're absolutely cock-a-hoop and they can shred us.
So
I've seen another one. I saw another story.
Has his legs gone or is his head gone?
Or is he still coming back from injury with him being older? It's going to take a couple of extra weeks. I don't know which.
How fit he is.
I mean, we all know. We're all a little bit older now. We all know. As you get older, you don't recover quite as quick. Something that might take 2 weeks, something take 2 weeks can turn into 4. It is as simple as that.
But see on that note, Stan, right? This is what Pep said, and when he said it, I actually went and checked the squad because I was surprised. There's 12 people in that squad over the age of 30.
Yeah, but there's a lot of young. There's a lot under. What is it, 24 or under?
Well, when you look at when I went through the squad, there is about 12 or 13 over 30, but there's a few of them who are 29. Akanji and Aki and the Jack Grealish is 28 or 29. And it got me thinking: is Pep the reason why he signed 2 years? Is the team going through a kind of like a metamorphosis that we're going to be bringing in young players? Kyle Walker's 34 years of age, by the way, and there's not one player in this chat or one member of our group that will outrun Kyle Walker. He's 34 years of age, and we don't know how fit he is. How can Pep repeatedly get it wrong when he's playing Kyle Walker?
Okay, who's better equipped then to listen? It seems like we're having a Kyle Walker debate. Well, if we are, we are. But who is better equipped to play on that right back, if you like, not right-sided flying forward? Who's most equipped to play right back, Stan?
Well, one of the things, I mean, you were talking about changing things. How about dropping the defence 10 yards further back so that his accelerations can still be used? He's not having to run 40 yards, just 20 yards if his accelerations are that. Not only that, other teams would find it a little bit harder to hoof one over the top and for us to chase on. Not only that, if we push back, maybe they'll push forward a little bit, and in which case we'll have space behind their defence to have a crack. So maybe, I don't know, maybe if you just drop a little bit deeper and, we can get them balls through to Ireland then for him to chase onto and use his strengths for a little while. Because at the moment, let's be honest, Ireland and Foden aren't pulling up trees either.
And do you know who's getting away with blue murder and never gets a mention? You never see his name mentioned or getting dug out of these so-called, as Andy calls them, entitled fans. You never see anyone digging out Bernardo Silva. I seriously haven't seen him play well this season.
I think bizarrely, that's a good link now. I think Tone said something about that further up, mate. And what Tone says there, I did actually say that yesterday to Mike and out the side of me. Team not good enough. Most worrying was heads dropped after the first. I saw that as soon as that first goal went in, it was like deja vu. Won it from the players. They just seemed to go, shit, we're here again now.
But that's a confidence thing, Andy. You know what I mean? That's really confident.
Yeah, and again,
if shows you what their confidence is at.
If we'd have scored the first 2 or 3 at 0-0, obviously we'd be looking at a different result, but we're probably looking at a different confidence within the whole of the team. Because as I say, yesterday for the first 10 minutes, I thought our tempo was really, really good. It was that one ball over the top again, and maybe like Stan says, drop the defence back 10 yards, and all of a sudden he is only running. Kyle's only running 20 yards. Just can tuck in a little bit more because it's frustrating because as fans we're all experts. It's an easy fix as fans, isn't it? But we're talking about big players there who are not stupid. They've been there. They've won Premier Leagues. They've won a Champions League. They've won all these trophies. And they've got Andy and Paddy and Stan and everybody in there who seem to know better. That's because we don't know the ins and outs and stuff. And that's not happy clapping. I'm always a believer. There's always reasons behind stuff. And again, even I was going out, why is Pep not bringing KDB on and stuff like that? Mike said to me, who sits at the side of me, when maybe he's only got 15 minutes in his tank.
Do you know, see this label that people put on each other, these kind of entitled or happy clappers? Like, what's the opposite of a happy clapper? A hypocrite. I'll only clap when you're winning. I'll only sing when you're winning, as the song goes. But the minute you're losing or you're not playing well and you're drawn, I'm not going to do it. So who's the real happy clapper? I only clap when you're winning.
I've done the title as a bit of tongue in cheek after all the shit I got on Twitter, mate. Because as I say, and entitled is they expect more, which, yeah, I can go for that. You know, they expect more than what they've seen. Just like what just one man said there, Ivor. He went, you know, he's not a happy clapper or whatever, but half-ass football. I don't exactly believe it's half-ass football. I reckon it's just a massive confidence thing at the minute. Massive.
Exactly. And the God forbid Haaland got injured. There's nobody there to replace him. We couldn't go back to playing that false nine system because the players are not there to implement it. Like, going back to, I know Stan always raises this point, and I know she's not here tonight, but like, Morris was an outball. Morris made things happen. There's nobody chipping in with goals. It's all down to Haaland. Like, that was never us. Midfielders always chipped in with goals. When's the last time midfielders scored?
And like I said in a message to a mate of mine today, you know, people absolutely slaughtered Raheem Sterling, right? Under Pep Guardiola, he had the third best goals and assists under Guardiola, only behind Messi and Lewandowski at Bayern Munich. But we slaughtered him. We always remembered all the misses, what he did, rather than all them goals, what he scored for us. With Mahrez, absolutely spot on, mate. He chipped in with vital goals. Not only did we chip in with vital goals, some people class him as lazy. No, because when we're defending a corner, you have an outlet, and I think Stan said it last week, Stan? Where you have an outlet. If that ball comes, you know he's got at the time, he had the best touching I've ever seen in world football.
You could close your eyes, kick the ball, and you know Mahrez was going to get it because he's going to be there.
But because he's not running back like an headless chicken, people put that down as a negative. And let's not forget, Jack's had the same criticism. They played to Pep's tactics. Now, if Pep says to Grealish, I don't want you taking people on, I want you to keep control of the ball, Jack will do that. Jack probably doesn't want to do it, but Jack's carrying out instructions. Same with Mahrez, same as any of them players.
Yeah, true.
Is that
it? So next week we'll be discussing Anne-Marie and why she wasn't here tonight.
Well, we already know, and if you know, we know for a fact. You know, she's a.
No, that's just an off the cuff statement. No, yeah, he was a big gift. Well, that's why Pep had him and kept him so long. I mean, you know, whether we agree with the player or not, he's not daft. If he's got a plan and somebody's doing what they want, whether they like it or not, if they do what he wants them to do, they'll stay in the team. And 99 times out of 100, it'll work. Then once every year, we'll have a blow up, and then it'll be the defining moment on the video next year where something went wrong, whether it's 115 charges or whether it's the World Cup, the year before, or whatever it was last year. Something will flip, and then that's it. You're going like your 2015, I don't know, 25 unbeaten run. Won't happen this year. Well, everyone says that every year when we're in the middle of this sort of like crisis.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We don't win the league, so what? Boo-hoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that it then? So we all have to go and find another club.
Yeah, seems that way, doesn't it?
So I don't know. I don't know why people get all excited and giddy about it. I think some people. I'm not saying the guys that have followed us for years and years, and I'm not talking about the guys who go like that. But I think there's some on social media who think by saying they support City, feel as though their success somehow rubs off into their life, and they're a success. So when their team doesn't win, their egos are that fragile, and somebody will take the mickey out with them at work or at school. It's like, oh no, I can't be doing this. And you've also got, I want to be the top Bert, and I've been offended the most by our performance. Nobody can out-Bert me because it's been, look at me, I'm throwing a chair through the TV or whatever it is United fans do on Goldbridge. It's It's what it is though nowadays, isn't it? Most of our fan base go on and think, Jesus Christ, oh God, I'm going to have about 2 hours of murder Monday morning. And that's it. But you get some that just take it too far.
Yeah, but it's like Andy said, them players are not going out to play badly. Them players are not going out on that pitch to lose a match. Like, if you want to know how it's affecting them players, just watch the documentaries about them. That'll tell you all you need to know about how much they care about that club, how much they care about each other, how much they care about winning. It's just we're going through a bit of a barren patch at the moment.
Is that a bit of a coincidence? What DC says, we've lost all games where Diaz wasn't playing, and I think we know reasons behind that, Paddy, don't we?
Hey guys, Ruben here. I just want to say hello to Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie, I believe that you no longer like Riyad Mahrez. Is that right? Well, I will be back from injury very, very soon. And maybe we could go out for a date. Well, I will look forward to that as long as I don't get injured again with a groin strain after we've been on our date, if you know what I mean. Speak soon. Get behind the guys.
Diaz has spoken, and is that, we don't want him out. We don't want him meeting Anne-Marie because we don't want him having a groin strain. We need him back.
Yeah. Leave him alone, Anne-Marie.
I was going to say, didn't we win the first few games that Rodri wasn't playing anyway?
First 5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Look,
so we can win
Rodri's a
without
big loss, but he doesn't make that. This is not John D. Rodri. Jesus Christ.
It's down to accumulation of things, mate. It's down to injuries, lack of form. It's a accumulation of everything. So you telling me, right? If we had no injured players, everybody was bang on form, we would be 8 points behind Liverpool.
Not 10 points clear.
Not a chance. But it happens. Listen, I know we've got a lot of injuries, but we can't blame it on just injuries. Just like what Ivor said above there, the players what we've got at the moment who are not injured, it's just not good enough what we're seeing. And some of that is bound to be down, out of form and stuff like confidence, whatever. We're not this losing streak's not going to carry on. I hope. And we've only got to go to Liverpool next week in the league.
Just you being a happy clapper again.
But it's not going to carry on, is it? Now, in midweek, we've got a chance to just try and win a game to get a bit of confidence back. And it's the old adage, isn't it? One game at a time. It's never been more evident than at the moment, where one game at a time. Otherwise, if we start looking to Liverpool and beyond and beyond and beyond, we'll all start going bonkers because we'd have already lost all them games before we've even played them. So it's important to do one game at a time, because the boys are bruised at the moment.
Well, this I suppose is where Pep earns his money, isn't it? He's getting paid to sort it out, but for me, I agree with Stan, and I said it earlier in the podcast, the defence needs to sit a bit deeper, and there's a bit of state needs. That midfield is porous, to say the least. It needs someone like you're on about Rodri. What did Rodri do? He sat in front of the back four, and he protected them. Who's doing that now? Gundo's certainly not doing it. Gundo pointed at Stones to pick up Madison yesterday. Why didn't he pick him up? He fucking let him run past him. Why didn't he run with him? No, he didn't do that because he can't. He's no legs, and the midfield is the issue. It's not the defence.
Jack, you certainly didn't get slaughtered off me, mate, because I actually agreed with you. But it's like when we was winning 5-5, when we won, what is it, 5-5 on the trot at the start of the season, everything was happy in the garden, wasn't it? It's just like, oh, this is wonderful. We can get by without Rodri. But then we start going on this run, and hindsight's a wonderful thing, standing it where if we'd have done this, listen, if my auntie had bollocks, it'd be my uncle.
Mm.
Mm?
Yeah, it's well, as I say, it's been happening in most of the games. Like Ireland had got those 2 chances and scored. It's all fine lines. We could have been 2-0 up in 15 minutes. Whole new story. Happens quite a lot. It's getting. We create enough chances as well. That's one thing that irks me. And it all comes down to the same thing. If Ireland doesn't finish, then we do struggle a bit at the moment. That'll change. I mean, we scored 150 goals last year when Ireland was on his own up front. But Savio's come in, Doku's come in. At the moment, there are question marks on both of them. I think Savio will be great, but we're talking about at the moment. Bernardo Silva's got a different form.
I don't think it helped Savio yesterday. I don't think he's as effective playing on the left as he is on the right, mate. But that's just my spin, because he looked like a dog with 2 bones yesterday. He didn't know which way to go. He passed it to the opposition a lot. Now, is that just poor, or is it lack of confidence, playing in a position what he's not used to? Again, exactly what you said. If Ireland had put 2 away, it's a different game. It's 2-0, but he didn't. But the next game is so important now.
But as I said to you before, Andy, the Savinho, he reminds me of Jesus. I don't think he's going to make it. And I think when Oscar Bob comes back after Christmas, he'd be spending a lot of time warming the bench.
Well, if that's the case, mate, I've not got a problem with that, because it means Oscar Bob is playing brilliantly, and then it's up to Savio or Doku or Grealish or whoever plays in their positions to fight for their place. And if they're getting ahead of a bang on form Oscar Bob, then again it's a win-win for us, because we know these players will be playing at the top of the game.
But there's the thing, right? Nunes played, and I'm open to correction in this. Nunes played and was very effective in the matches he played. Why is Rico Lewis and Gundogan getting on the pitch before him? I know that's down to Pep.
Yeah, and it's like what MJG Window Clean says there. We've won 4 league titles in a row. Nothing we do this season is a failure. We achieved something no other club will ever achieve, and Pep will have endless credit in the bank for me. And me, mate, absolutely. And that's not even a flipping comment. Pep will always have credit in the bank for no matter what he does. Listen, if Pep would have walked away in the summer after a shit season if we had a shit season this season, what is a shit season? Is 2nd, 3rd, or 4th a shit season? I don't think it is. But we're that used to winning now. This juggernaut what we've got, I just think we need to regroup, get some players back, and go again. I'm sure we will sign players in this. I know Pep normally doesn't like signing players in January, but I don't think he's got an option this time. Do you, Stan?
Well, the important thing is, as long as we get to 40 points, and then we won't do what we did years ago, win the league and then get relegated the next season. We've done it before. But this is one thing I like about Pep. We've got to be positive here. He breaks records week after week. He's never lost 5 in a row before. There's another record he's broken. The guy's just...
He's a genius.
He just breaks records. Yeah. Now, I was having a little look at what you were saying, Paddy, about the players who are age 30 or over. Kovacic, Stone, Silva, Edison. Then you got Ortega and Carson, but then you got De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Walker. But we have got a decent future with people under 25. Haaland, Foden, Doku, Gavardio, Bob, Savino, Lewis. We've just got that kid who's coming in from Argentina. He's a good player.
But
Just see how it goes.
But Stan, and everyone's going, oh, we're getting Everett, whatever he's called, in January. He's coming. He's going to be a saviour. No, before he even steps foot in England, a lot of fans.
Didn't say he's a saviour.
No.
Didn't say he's a saviour. Said he's a good player.
No, I don't mean you nugget. What I'm saying is, we see him, fans now as he's going to be the saviour. He's going to be the saviour. He's not set foot in England yet. We're already putting pressure on the kid. We're also seeing, we need to bring Callum Doyle back. We need to bring, all these young lads back out on loan. So if we did that and we get a plummeting week in, week out, then them kids are going to be absolutely distraught. Their heads are going to go. The fans will be in an even bigger meltdown, and it'll unbalance the club massively. It's got to be gradual. That's why you never see. Oh God, somebody will say, "Oh, they did in 1992." You never see a big group of youth team come through at once.
Yeah, no, and that's the point I was making when Paddy said, we've got a load of older players. We have got some older players, but with Edison being 31, he's got another four years in him, at least. De Bruyne can come on as a sub. Gundogan was never here as a first-team player when he came back. We know that. He was in as a cover. Then Rodri got injured and De Bruyne got injured. So now he's playing far more than he would have liked. Walker, if he wants to move on, you got Frimpong, haven't you? He was with us. He's over in Germany now. There's people out and about. And now if we're going to start doing these, you can replace 2 or 3 of those over 30s, which would be all right, and not necessarily have a huge dent in the the what's it called, the spirit of the team or the confidence of the team.
But Stan,
they all know that Walker's probably on his last season. They know that,
Stan. But it's all right as saying, there's Frimpong, there's Musiala, there's Wirtz, there's this, there's that. Do they want to come to England and City? We don't know. Just because we've got money and we want these players doesn't mean to say they want to come to City.
Frimpong does. He said so.
When
he was interviewed, he enjoyed it. He was at City from the age of 8 through to about 17.
No, I'm just saying in general, it's easy for us to want a toy. If I want to go and buy a top of the range drone,
yeah,
it don't mean to say I can go and get it.
Why not?
No, you don't. Well, what you will do, but what you do is you do buy players in, aren't they? We do buy players. They don't always have to be top of the range, but just because we bought them doesn't mean they're a new toy.
But the thing is, mate, right? It's like everyone's saying we need a massive rebuild. No, we don't.
I've not said that.
No, not
said
you.
2 or 3 players.
Not you.
Oh,
ding, 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 ding. Back to your corners.
No, what I'm saying is, we don't need a massive rebuild. What we do need is, I do think Kyle will go at the end of the season, which will be a shame because his legacy is getting a bit tarnished now for one reason or another. What I will say is,
that's a good point.
Yeah, he played. Listen, but you don't have to always get rid of a first teamer to bring somebody else in. And I'll keep citing back to Fernandinho when we brought Rodri in. We didn't just get rid of Fernandinho straight away. We give him that extension until Rodri was ready. So if we bring in a KDB successor in, then we bring him in so KDB can nurture him through. The same with any player really, whether it's Walker, if Frimpong does want to come and Pep fancies him coming in, whatever, then he doesn't come in directly to replace Walker. What they've got to do then, they've got to have a bit of competition. Who wants it more? And whoever wants it more, that's for the good of City, not them.
No, but I think the KDB replacement is already here. It's just misfiring at the moment.
It's called
Mr. Fulton.
Yeah, and he's had loads and loads of stuff. And you've also got to remember that if Rodri goes or if Haaland goes or somebody like that. We've seen it time and time again over the last 10 years. We don't replace like we'd like. We couldn't replace David Silva. We couldn't replace Yaya Toure. We couldn't replace Aguero. So what we did was we just changed things a little bit, changed the system a little while. We then tended to have a little bit of a flaky start, and then we started going through the gears after Christmas.
Couldn't replace Tevez?
Yeah, we got a lot better. We couldn't replace him. We couldn't find anyone anywhere near that useless.
Well,
so right. Then we
and the guys in the chat as well. Tell what you think about it. Do you think it's time we changed our style a little bit? I know it ultimately it's not down to us, but again, we spoke earlier about Riyad Mahrez and Sterling and Sané, etc.
I'd love to go back to that, Andy. I swear to God, I really would. I'd love to go back to that.
But teams started to suss. I think teams have sussed us a little bit now, as well as we can blame injuries, we can blame lack of form and confidence and stuff like that. But I do think teams have started to suss us out a little bit. So I think maybe we do need to start.
I don't necessarily buy into that, because that's, to me, that's just a lazy narrative that people say, Man City been found out, and it's easy to play against them. We know they're going to go side to side. You know they're going to recycle the ball. You know they're going to keep possession of the ball. They're not going to play a cross in fear of losing the ball. Yeah, you can say that. You can have the knowledge, but trying to nullify it is a different story. And when that team is playing on fire, for the last 4 seasons, nobody could nullify it, because we've won the Premiership. So where was all the fucking tactical geniuses then?
I don't know, mate. I just feel that, again, I said it earlier, I just feel the guys are a bit battered at the minute, and we can't do right for wrong.
You know, and Stan alluded to it earlier, when they say a manager finds out about his players when it's not going well, and as is it the other week in the podcast, you'll also find out about fans.
I also agree there with what Luke's saying about sort of like the Brentford game. I think we could sense that things were not quite right, and I thought yesterday, although I don't think it was a 4-0 game, I think they took their chances very well, and fair play to Spurs. I do think we've been on the verge of getting a bit of a spanking for probably since the Brentford game. No?
Well, yeah, look, I mean, it's easy to pick holes in things when things are not going right, but from what I know of psychology, and I know quite a bit, the players are hurting. You know, mm-hmm. I can't imagine the mood in that dressing room is very good, or they're in training today. There was no day off.
Good.
Pep normally gives them and what I liked about them actually was there wasn't much social media presence of any of the players afterwards, or even today. Out of all of them, there was only Jack Grealish, and he reposted what Man City posted, and Akanji put up a post saying that we move forward together or something. But the rest of them, nobody else has a social media presence, so they are hurting, you know. Like, we know they're hurting. We're not blind to the fact. We've got to know these guys over the last 8, 9, 10 years. The dressing room can't be a happy place, but that's what happens when you're not winning.
I think what Blue Art says there is I think that will speaks for a lot of people there. I think the big thing is that we've never had a dip in form like this before. It's prior to a big game at Liverpool, so many are putting their brown pants on. I think there's a lot of truth in that, and I think that's why it's so important to get a win in midweek. Stan?
Yeah, we need that win just to stop the rot. and then give yourselves a little bit of confidence going into that Liverpool game. At the moment, I think anybody would take the scrappiest 1-0 win that you could ever think. Absolutely everybody would rip your hand off for that. That's not always been the case in the past. Sometimes we've gone in there quite confident we can win. That's clearly not going to be the case this time. But Ken, what do you do? You've just got to sit and see what goes on. Now we can do. We're not down at the training ground. We don't see what's happening. We don't know who's fit. We don't know who's kicking up a stink in the dressing room. Could be somebody in there having a night moan every 5 minutes, winding everyone up and getting on everyone's nerves.
It could be because, like I said earlier, when everything's rosy in the garden, it's like you're invincible. But when the chips are down like this, it's how people react, not just on a football field, but in life. Again, it's not gonna last forever. He says.
Here's a thought I had, Andy, when I seen when Rodri was there yesterday with the Ballon d'Or, and a thought came into my head. That's the first time he's been back in and amongst the players since he got injured, right? Because obviously he had to go away and have the operation and then do his rehab down in the sun. This is the first time Rodri's been back. And a few seasons ago, didn't we go through a bit of a sticky wicket and Rodri called a meeting amongst the players and they had it out amongst themselves and we went on like a 12 or 13 game unbeaten run. And I'm just wondering, Rodri being there yesterday, would he stay on and get amongst the players and do likewise, call another meeting?
If I'm not mistaken, I think the rest of his rehab is back in Manchester now, mate.
I'm not sure, but do you think that history might repeat itself and they might all get into the locker room, as they call it, and have it out?
But it's okay saying that. Will the history repeat itself? But the way football cycles go, mate, we're not always going to win the league. No. There's going to be a point when we're going to come second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. There's going to be that point. Now, we need a bit of we just need a bit of realisation.
Question for you, Andy. How many natural born leaders would you say we have, and who would you think they are?
That's a great question. Straight off, I'll go from back to front. I'd say definitely Diaz, Rodri. I'd say Haaland. I'd put Haaland as a leader. I would.
Well,
the reason No, as a leader, I think he's a leader. Look at the way when something happens on the pitch, mate. He's always there. Boom, sorting out. That's a leader. He's always like last. He was the last one off the pitch yesterday, mate. To be fair to the players, in fact, you know what? 3-0 down yesterday. There was a better atmosphere in that ground at 3-0 down than there was at 0-0.
Yeah, I did know.
So, who would you put down as leaders then? Anybody other than the three I've said?
Well, would you throw in KDB?
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah.
So we've named 4 leaders there, and only one of them has been playing.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. You should be your own leader. It doesn't work like that. There will be 1, 2, 3 that will get a grip of the team and say, right, stop faffing about, find out. Could throw in, I don't know. Kyle Walker's obviously a bit of a captain, but he's not about. Stones is a bit of a captain, but he's not about.
I don't consider Stones a captain, mate. I just consider Stones a very, very good player.
Phil Foden, not a captain.
No.
So if he's looking up to these captains and they're not there, how many other players are like that?
Good point, mate. It is a really, really good point because, like you said, it's easy to say they all should be captains, they all should be doing this, but that's like saying all players should be world class, and we don't, and we know they're not. You get the best if you've got a leader, whether it's a player or whether it's a manager. They get the best out of whether it's the backroom staff or whether it's a player. You know, the better players play better with better players, don't they?
They do, and not only that, we've not named a player, and have deliberately not named him till now. Arguably one of the best captains we've had, Gundogan. He has been playing, but that's something. Is he sort of like the team's moved on and he's not there now, or what? If you see what I mean, he's been away for the year.
Ivor, I'm not saying you're entitled. No, but you're right, Stan. And again, Gundo, yeah. But what? It's just not happening for Gundogan at the minute. And I keep saying it to people. There's no way Gundogan came back expecting to play every single game. He's playing every single game at the moment.
But he is, Andy, and that's an issue for me.
Yeah, it is an issue.
It's an issue. It's an issue for him as well. I'm sure he wasn't wanting to play every single game in the Premier League, mate, because he's knocking on in football years, isn't it? And he's only ever really come good for us in the second half of any season. So we're expecting something off a 30-odd-year-old Gundogan, what we didn't get off a 25-year-old Gundogan. But he's getting older now, so we're expecting him to do more on the pitch than he's ever done. It's just not going to happen.
Like, there's no doubt in his football intelligence. The man has football brain, and you can clearly see he's going to be next in the line of managers that Pep has created. He'll definitely go on, and I think he's already taken charge of the EDS and matches like that, so he's doing his badges. But like him and Rico in that midfield, it weakens us, you know. There's no two ways around it. It weakens us. Why not put a bit of youth, a bit of energy in there in Nunes?
Rico is youth.
Rico's too lightweight, man. He's too lightweight.
Why are you going all Jordan? He's too lightweight, man. Why, man?
Honestly, God, the fantastic little player, but again, too much expected of him. Too much, too soon. But like, say if all the midfielders are back now, right? But without Rodri, obviously, like you'd have to be starting De Bruyne. You'd have to be starting Kovacic, Foden, Silva.
What about McAtee? Young lad, give it a bit of a whiz in the midfield.
Again, Stan, he falls under the too much, too soon expectation.
But in that with Rico now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And Rico's been accused of being lightweight. McAtee's.
He's 22 now.
Andy, he is. There's no, like, I'm not accusing him, he is. And it's not the young lad's fault.
Tom, I would absolutely love that. I mean, anybody who watches the show, I'm a huge fan of Jared Bowen. I'd just love to see the fella at
but Andy, where are you going to put Jared Bowen? Like,
where?
When all that team is back, you have Oscar Bob, Silva, Grealish, Doku, Savinio. Where's Bolden going?
Don't the others fight for a place? And by the way, you're expecting Oscar Bob to be back in December, January, and be flying. He's coming back from a series.
I didn't say that. It'll be the end of January before he's back to speed.
Well, you won't see the real Oscar Bob till next season, mate.
No, I'd say by the end of January, he'd be up to speed at the end of January.
Doesn't work like that, mate. Not in the real world.
But there's no, like, yeah, bring in Bowen, but somebody has to go.
But that's the cycle of football, mate. It's if somebody's got to go, somebody's got to go. If you're bringing a better player in, you're bringing a better player in, aren't you?
Here's one for you. If they turn around and says to me tomorrow morning, we'll sell Silva and we'll bring in Jared Bowen, shake their hand.
So what's the difference then?
What do you mean? What's the difference?
So, okay, if Jared Bowen come in, for instance, right, and again, it's just hypothetical. This, if Jared Bowen come in, for me, straight away, he's a starter.
Right.
Now, whoever comes into most top football clubs, whoever comes in, you'd expect them to be pretty much coming in as a first teamer, especially if they've got that many injuries and stuff like that, what we've got. So then the players what are coming back from injury, and then I've got to prove it to dislodge whoever's in there, whoever's got their shirt. You know, Stan?
Yeah, no, just think I am genuinely knackered. No, I was looking at McAtee there. He's had nearly 100 starts in, adult football. So, he's had a season. He's had
adult football. You got Kathy burning a sausage.
He's had a season. He's had a season in the Championship, so he knows what it's like to get oofed. I don't know. I just think he might be bringing it the. He might bring that little bit of fizz that we need to get going. Jared Bowen, decent shout, but when everyone's spitting red in, would he want to come? Because I'm not so sure he would be first team. He'd make it at the moment.
Danny Dyer won't let him leave West Ham anyway. He's going out. He's married to his daughter in or something.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge. See what you started here now, Tom. But yeah, I'm a huge fan. But either way, we do need some resources in January. And I know Martin will probably say, if Martin was watching now, he'd probably say, "Oh yeah, who are you going to leave?" But we can leave Rodri out. Yeah, it's going to be back before the end of the season. But again, that's putting pressure on a player who's been out a long, long time to come back and make a difference at the back end of the season. I would much rather say to Rodri, right, your season's over, come back next season.
But that's what I said to you before, Andy. Like, why don't we go down to the Championship and get a midfielder, a little terrier from a Championship club, and say, look, come in here and do a job for us for 6 months, and then be Rodri's understudy next season. Like, there must be somebody down there that can pull us out of a hole until next summer. Like, even matching your man Liam Delap today, he's not a half a bad striker, like.
But he's not top, is he? No, I'm not saying we should only go for the top players, because I'm a great believer you can get some bargains. But Pep's always going to make a mistake. Any manager's always going to make a mistake. I.e., was it a mistake letting Cole Palmer go? No, because at the time, nobody knew Cole Palmer was going to be in the form he's in now. Same with Delap. Delap's playing really, really well. But let's not forget, Delap, when we let him go, only scored something like 5 goals in the Championship. It's only because he scored the same amount of goals now in the Premier League. Everyone's going, "Oh, Pep's made a mistake with Delap." No, he didn't. No, I'm
not saying Pep made a mistake. I'm just saying it, like, in terms of an understudy for Haaland, and we do have to get an understudy for Haaland, or somebody who's going to challenge Haaland. More importantly, we need to get someone in.
I agree with Ivor there. As Pep always says, the past is gone. It's about here and now that matters. They are Pep's words, not Ivor's. But it's true. There's not what we can do about it. And again, we can debate it till the cows come home. But ultimately, it's down to whether them players are fit, whether they're in the right frame of mind. You don't know whether some of them players are mentally drained for one reason or another. We don't know. Like, we're not seeing the real Phil Foden. Now, we're making excuses and stuff like that. Is it because of his home life? Is it because he had COVID bad? The truth is, nobody knows. Everybody can pretend they're an ITK, but the facts are facts. We just don't honestly know. But Pep does.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's time, Stan, that we say to KDB, listen, you want to play yourself into form and fitness?
Yeah, but then who do you play? Who do you play in there?
Who do
I
you
mean, I
drop
don't
out?
think. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to start him. I don't think that'll be a big problem because I can't see him starting him. I don't think he'll start him against Liverpool. I think it could be another 2-3 weeks before he actually gives him his first start. So maybe that is what he's doing, giving him 20 minutes here, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and then build it up.
Listen,
Because we need it.
I just thought he looked okay when he came on yesterday for his little cameo. He had a bit about him yesterday when he come on. I know it was a short space of time, but it's not like, I don't know. We just look much better.
I think if he gets a half on Tuesday night, he'd start against Liverpool.
I think we've got to start him against Liverpool because I'd rather start him and get 20 minutes, half an hour, the first half out of him. And then if he does tire, he tires, shit happens, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced, but it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? It's what we're here for, to have a natter about things. How do we get rid of the shot of that?
See, I don't. Why hate on Jack, Mark? What has he done? What has he done wrong this season? I just don't get. I really don't get stuff like that.
Do you want me to tell you? He's English. Sterling, Walker, Grealish. When do you ever see any of the foreign players getting picked on?
Don't know, mate. I don't know. It just really disappoints me.
It's a media narrative that's fed, and everybody just drinks it in. Give me more of that stuff. Walker.
Yeah. Stan, one for you. Itra says Phil is not the KDB replacement. Tell him why he is.
Huh?
What? Tell him why he is.
Tell Iptris why Foden is the KDB replacement.
Well, you've only need to have watched him for the last 2.5 seasons.
The last 7.
I think it's took off in the last couple of seasons because he's got him playing on the wing, he's got him playing in the middle, he'll top him back. And he's trying to get all the different ranges of what he can do and what he can't do in there. Do it now while he's young and he can learn. Because when KDB does go, he'll have him slot straight in there. This is why he doesn't get
that on the show.
Oh, he doesn't get as forward as Saka does as often. Doesn't get as forward as Salah is often.
Mm-hmm.
These guys that are out and out up front players. He doesn't go in there. He just plays in that little hole behind them. He moves across the midfield.
Yep.
He doesn't drop deep. He doesn't need to. Rodri's there. So he's just occupying that half in the attacking half between the halfway line and halfway between there and into the 18-yard box. He's putting the balls through for Haaland, for Doku, for Savio to get that ball into the middle. You only have to look at if you get a heat map of where he is and what he's doing, it's where he is.
He's the conductor.
I agree with what Stuart's saying there. In any level of football, if you don't put your chances away, you'll eventually get it's been coming for a while, in his honest opinion. I said that earlier, Stuart, probably from Brentford, really, mate. Where I would say, and it's, listen, and I say this, possession doesn't win you football matches, goals do. And like you said, Stan, it's the fine margins between scoring a goal and not, and winning and not.
Mm.
And City wanted to put a show on for Rodri yesterday. I'd say they put a show on for him. Not the right show, but they certainly put a show on for him. Oh, yeah, I miss Aguero and Tevez types of players. They just do the unexpected and brilliant. Maybe Pep wants something else, but I like those that bring the unexpected. I do. I really, really do.
Mm.
It's not all doom and gloom, no, guys, is it? We still...
If we lose against Liverpool, I'm going back to supporting Chelsea. I've had enough.
And Stan's going back to supporting Accrington Stanley, aren't you, mate? That's why his nickname's Stan, because he used to support Accrington.
Going back to the big time.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's pretty much for it. Anybody get anything? Sorry, we're keeping you awake, Grandad.
Yeah, actually, we might be a time in about an hour's time.
So we've got to end on a positive, haven't we? Because there's too much doom and gloom at the minute. Are we going to win in midweek? And who would you play?
I'd play me in midfield at the stage.
I'd put you in net, mate. Nothing to get past you.
At least I'd kick lumps.
I would start. Go on,
what do you think of a Guardiola overthinking it masterclass coming in?
When? Yeah, Kathy. Just I'm moving on from that. Anyway, it's that time of it. It's normally Anne-Marie, isn't it? Kathy's taking over from Anne-Marie there. Gee whiz. But yeah, it's not all doom and gloom. I think it's so important that we just keep behind the boys, keep going at it, because as I said at the top of the show, if somebody's on your back while you're trying to do your job, you're not going to perform at the best. And even in Kyle Walker's words, because Kyle Walker was on the show earlier, wasn't he? So, exactly how it is. Just get behind the guy. Isn't it, Stan?
Certainly is. Certainly is. And don't forget, no matter how bad it feels at the moment, this is the best team, the best squad we've had.
Yeah.
In history, really.
What did you say earlier, Stan? 6 out of 7, is it?
Yeah.
So if we don't win it this week or this year, it'll be 6 out of 8.
That's the one. That's the one. What Blue Art's saying. I'd do exactly the same. Put Aki against Salah if he's fit.
Yeah.
Very, very underrated day for Naki. Very, very. FIFA wants score predictions for the Champions League in midweek.
I'd be happy. If I'm in half Haaland's arse, I'd be happy.
I would be happy. Well, I'm going to go 3-0 City. And normally I don't bet City to win, do I? I just think it's got to stop at some point, this streak, and it'll be a nice boost for next week's game.
No, I prefer if we lost on Tuesday night and hammered the Dippers 10-0.
How about when it's not? Since when did I say if you could choose one to win or lose? How about winning both of them, grumpy ass?
Don't be greedy. You just lost 5 in a row.
And again, what a genius. He's still making history, still breaking records. Ivor, you enjoy your beer, my friend. Well deserved. And I'll definitely call it at that establishment very, very soon, mate, and we'll have a beer. So we will be all right, won't we, boys?
I'm afraid so.
Jesus Christ, I'm sorry I asked you that now.
Yeah, but it's good to get back in touch with typical City, isn't it? Just to remind these boys that this is the way it used to be. So you can't say that anymore. It's different times. I mean, shut up.
Oh, you've only supported us since 2008. You said before you used to support
2009, actually. Keep your facts right. I wasn't too sure and then it changed at the end of 2008.
Well, you need education off Stan, because Stan's been supporting City since 1894, haven't you, mate?
I have, yeah.
It's all the looks of it.
I said it this time. If we leave Hyde Road, I'm not renewing my season ticket.
There you go.
I didn't.
There you go. Stop in between you now. Thanks as always, guys. Anne-Marie will be back with us next week. Hopefully, Ruben won't have his groin strain. So yeah, thank you as always, everybody in the chat. Thanks for the interaction and stuff like that. That's what I love about this show. Not used to guys in the chat.
Feelings mutual.
Don't be too down, because as much as we love City, guys, there is more important things in life. So let's have a bit of perspective. We're not always going to be shit. I don't mean me, Paddy and Stan. I mean City. Enjoy the rest of your week, and come on, City. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye now.
Bye,
Take care.